Good day, everybody. Welcome back once again to my Hen's Tooth Cafe. Today on the menu, this is something that I finished about a week or two ago. I hadn't had time to do the video, so here we go. I'd always been intrigued by that little Deacy amp, and as is the case with me, I have a nasty habit of buying parts for projects and squirreling them away, and this is one of them. I think I bought the parts for this like 2 years ago. Yeah. So finally decided to give myself a boot in the pants and said, hey, why don't you build this thing? So I did. I put it together, and I had a little bit of a different take on it. I didn't want just the amplifier. I know it, I read a lot on it, and they said that you need a treble booster in front of it, or some kind of booster in front of it. And I figured, well, look, Brian May treble booster along with the DC amp section, that's tried and true. It's, I think I'm going to go with that. And but then I decided, well, hey, I don't really want to build it into the speaker box. Can I maybe build it somehow that I could use it as a pedal? So I expanded on that, and what I did is I did a Vero of the Brian May treble booster with little modification. I put a gain and output volume for the booster, and I combined it all on one board with a positive negative power supply section. So I'm running this off of 12 volts AC, and the booster section is NPN while the amp is PNP. So I have that bipolar power section providing the power for both. I also stole a part of an idea from the Fryer website, and I put a direct out with its own volume. This is what the output that I use when I'm either plugging it into another amplifier, or directly into a recording board. And it has the output for the speaker direct. There's no volume control for that, like the original. I also added a loop section in between the booster and the amp section. I figured in case I wanted to add maybe a delay pedal, or maybe I wanted to try a different booster in front of it, and I can bypass the booster in here and use an external booster or fuzz pedal or whatever, whatever strikes me as wanting to try. So I threw that in there as well. And this selector switch is 4 different input caps for the booster. And this is another little thing that I stole from the Fryer schematic. It's a compression switch. I'm not going to play with it today because it's too hard to hear exactly what it does with the camera. You really have to listen to it to hear the difference between one setting to the next, or one extreme to the other. So, got my tried and true guitar, Bill Lawrence humbuckers, and amps on, boosters on, guitars on, and right now I'm using this lovely Sony speaker enclosure, which came with a 6-inch speaker that wasn't working. So I got an 8-inch whizzer cone speaker in there, 8 ohms, and it also had a little tiny 2-inch tweeter in there with a little crossover there, and I kept it. So it's the 2 speakers running together. I figured, keep the tweeter for the high end. The tweeter seemed to be working fine, so that's what's in there right now. 8-inch whizzer cone, all paper speaker, and a little 2-inch tweeter. So we're on the bridge pickup, tones up high. I'm on the original capped value, input cap value for the booster. I'm at the 9 o'clock on the gain, and the output volume for the booster is wide open. At noon. Wide open. So that's everything right that's the pedal in the oil pan basically. And neck pickup. It's a little boomier there, kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan bottom end. You can turn the tone all the way down. Gain a little bit. Switch down a cap. So I can get really thick there with the bigger input caps, but you have to be careful because if you use larger input caps on the input, if you start cranking up the gain and or the volume, you start to get some oscillation. So you got to be careful with that. But if you can tone it down a little bit there, and especially with using the neck pickup there, and if you roll the tone off, it's just like, oh, it's monstrous. So like I said before, I also have a direct out with a volume control, and I have it plugged into my little practice amp, so I'm in stereo. Let's crank the gain back up. replaced the Deacy amp with a Brian May treble booster, added gain and output control for the booster section, and input send receive loop, and that sits between the booster and the amp. Direct out with the volume control, so you can plug it into a mixer board or a recorder, digital recorder. I plugged it into my little Boss digital recorder the other day there, and I added some more effects onto it, like some chorus and a little bit of preamp, and it just sounded like huge. And speaker out for if you want to build yourself a little speaker box, or just get one on the cheap there from a thrift store or eBay or whatever, and stick a little whizzer tone speaker in there, and there you go. So that's it for today's episode of the Hen's Tooth Cafe. Hope you enjoyed. All the details, as always, are at doityourselfstompboxes.com, and we'll see you around. Have a nice fuzzy day. Ciao.